o'clock. If you guys can't hear me, just give me a thumbs up. I'm going to call the White Bear Town Board meeting for December 15th, 2025 to order. First item on the agenda is the agenda. Patrick?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, please, as the board, staff recommends removing 6A from this evening's agenda. Beyond that, no other changes.
Is this something we're going to move to our exec meeting, correct?
If we need to, yeah.
Okay. Board have any other changes, additions?
I have none.
Did a spelling error, but I can leave that for later.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 3 is approval of payment of the bills. You sign off, Steve?
I did. I signed off. Move to approve payment of the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, item 4 is approval of prior meeting minutes. This is from December 1st, 2025. Is that what your correction was? Your spelling error?
Yes, that would be on page 17 of 520. And the word indemnification, we might want to get that one right. Number 7.
That's in tonight's meeting, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it talked about the contract for the.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, is that your motion?
That's it.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item 5, we have 20 consent agenda items.
That's a record.
Phew, we're running out of the alphabet.
Yeah.
How's the board feel? You want to pull any of them? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve.
Can I actually ask a couple questions?
On the consent?
Yeah, it would be
Well,
regarding the payments.
We should pull it then.
Well, I want to pull it. I just want to ask a question. You might be able to answer right here now.
All right, Larry? Is that your question,
Yep,
Larry?
Larry, can you give me an idea of the change orders that we've got here? They weren't really clear to me what they were. Are they estimating errors, or was there just some additional work that was found? And the ones I was interested in were 5R, 5S, and 5T.
Yes, Mr. Chair and Town Board, we actually have 4 on there, Q, R, S, and T, that have change orders for projects. And so the item Q, the Mallard Ponds project, was a 2024 project, and we're finaling out that project. And we have a net, our final amount is $377,000 less than
That
the
one wasn't the
contract.
one I was worried about.
No, I know, but you can get a sense from that one with the rest of these, and so
So that one's just offsetting. So the money came off one and then it got offset on the others?
it could. I mean, Tom does that with with his.
Okay. I just wondered because it was, like the one for 128,000, that was kind of big.
Yeah, and so I can describe the other 3, the change orders for the 3 projects from 2025. We had additional restoration on all 3 of those projects that, when we're estimating and putting our numbers together on quantities, we're never exact.
No, I know, yeah.
And so, in this case, on these projects, there's more restoration involved with those projects. And then on the T project 2024-4, there was also additional curb and gutter and street work that was done.
It just wasn't clear when I read through that, so I thought I'd ask. Thank you.
Sure. And when we were doing the assessment hearings on those projects, the numbers that were in front of you at that meeting are the same as this.
Okay.
So
Thank
they
you.
were accounted for at that time.
All right.
All right, so then I need a motion for item 5, the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on, item 6, old business fire service, we're going to delete that one. Public hearing, we have none, so we're going to move right to 8A. This is the 2537 Second Street hazardous building. You going to synopsis, Patrick, or are we going to listen? Got Mike?
Mike, thanks for coming, Mike.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, before you this evening is a resolution number 2590, requesting the demo or rehab of 2537 Second Street, White Bear Township. Staff recommends approval of this resolution for the demolition or repair of the dwelling unit. Town staff determined just cause for determining for nuisance violations on the property and the long history of enforcement action taken on the property. Some of the code violations documented, violations, ordinance number 8, town ordinance number 8. Basically, the town building code regulates permitting repairs. Town ordinance 16 is the nuisance ordinance, defines unsafe and dangerous structures, and gives the town the authority to abate those nuisance conditions. Town ordinance 47, the town's housing maintenance code, regulates housing items, housing conditions, and such. Minnesota Rule 1300.0180, unsafe structures, grants the town building official the authority to order the demolition or repair of unsafe structures. In your packet, in the memo, is a long history of enforcement action. In reviewing it, there's a few typos in there, but I'll go through the main items here. Most recently, in September of 25, order for demolition or repair of the unsafe structure sent to the property owner. September of 25, second notice for diseased trees on the property. August of 25, first notice of diseased trees. November 24, abatement order for the unsecured building. August of 24, the structure was declared dangerous. August of 24, there was a notice of the incomplete building permit application. March of 24, stop work order, unpermitted construction. August of 24, vacant building notification. May of 23, grass abatement. February of 23, vacant building notices. June of 22, grass abatement notice. March of 22, abatement of a dangerous fallen tree. March of 22, emergency abatement of the fallen tree. December 01, emergency abatement of broken unsecure windows. December 21, notice of emergency abatement, completion and costs associated with the abatement. November 21, vacant building notice. August 21, grass abatement notice. June 21, vacant building notice. June of 21, determined unfit for human habitation. June of 21, another grass abatement. October 2020, abatement of dilapidated wood fence, safety fencing. September 2020, abatement orders for personal property, vacant building registration, overgrown grass, and then going back to 2020. those enforcement actions were taken by the town and documented violations. In the packet, the resolution requires demolition or repair from 90 days upon serving this resolution to the property owners. That's all I had. If you had any questions.
So that 90-day grace period starts tonight?
Have we heard from the owner at all?
I have no contact with the owner for a couple of years. They
So
do
you
not,
send him paperwork? And
they do not respond to emails or.
Couple questions, Mike. The diseased trees, have they all been removed?
They are not.
So just like the grass, they could be, the grass, you cut that and incurred a bill for the township, which will be included for a tax assessment, right?
The town did maintain the yard the last couple of years.
So in
That will be assessed to the property. There was a tree that got blown down in the wind a few years back in a precarious condition. The town abated that nuisance,
that was added to this tax.
and that was added to the tax rolls.
And as this moves forward, if it goes forward with the demolition, is it assumed that they'll take the trees down too, or is that going to have to be addressed and then added to the tax forfeiture, whatever you call it, Chad? An item? Assessment, that's what I meant, yes. So,
It would probably be handled as a separate
separate item.
item. The trees currently are in the town's emerald ash borer program of notification. So we'll go through our proper steps as far as the emerald ash borer
I
notification.
think the proper steps probably it would be notice, and then they have to have a plan, and then they're forced to remove them.
Yep, so we are at the second notice. Currently was just recently sent out. So yeah, the town is at the point where they can abate that disease tree nuisance.
Okay.
Probably prior to these other items
They
here.
agree to demo the place, they might as well take it right with them.
Oh, one
Is that all you got, Steve?
Yeah, that's,
Beth?
No, that's good. So we adopt the resolution and we're moving along.
Are they still paying a vacant building fee?
I reviewed the file. It looks like over the last 5 years, the town got 2 vacant building fees out of them.
So is that,
One was paid, and I believe the town assessed the other. I didn't have a chance to verify how many vacant building fees were assessed to the
well,
property.
is that something that will also go on the tax roll against that property?
Yes, that would be another
Right.
item.
That's a substantial amount there also. So as it stands tonight, as of March 15th, if we get no response or correspondence, Chad, we have the right to go in and take it down? This is public notice? How is this handled?
Well, we'll have to file a complaint with the court. We'll have to serve that complaint on the property owner. Then have 20 days to answer. If they fail to answer, it's a default. If they do answer, then we have to go through court hearing. Same thing happened on Stillwater. Stillwater, we ended up having to go through court hearing initially.
so the first step tonight is to pass the resolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, any other questions of Mike or the attorney? All right, hearing none.
Don't we have to
We need
make
a motion on the,
resolution?
yeah, to approve the resolution.
I'll move to approve Resolution 2590, ordering the raising of a hazardous building located at 2537 Second Street, White Bear Township, Ramsey County, Minnesota.
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, come on up. You got a name and address for the record, please.
Mary Fahey, 5301 80 Circle. Sorry, again, I'm slow. So you've passed a resolution, then what?
Has to be served on the property owner.
Right,
You have to have 20 days to object.
20 days.
If they object, there'll be a court hearing.
If you don't hear from them, then what?
March.
Then it proceeds as a default. We still have to get a court order.
Okay, and so the 90 days, that is, how does that relate to whether or not the owner responds?
Again, if within 90 days, the date of the resolution is adopted, they haven't come to Mike, applied for the proper permits and started rehabilitating the house, the township has the right to raise the home.
Okay, okay. And where does the court order fit within that structure?
That is what the court order will direct us to do.
Okay, okay. And so you're seeking that now as this resolution has gotten passed?
Step one, adopt the resolution.
Sorry.
Step two is serve the order.
Right.
Serve the resolution and the complaint on the property owner. Step three is wait 20 days to see after service, to see if they do anything, if they file an objection. If they file an objection, it's a regular court hearing,
Okay,
court file. If they don't file an objection, we get a default, and they have 90, as long as the court is fine with 90 days, they'll have 90 days from the day of the resolution to either fix either start fixing it up,
okay,
or it'll be demolished.
okay. Thank you. And I hope I don't ever have to make you go through that whole thing again, but I probably will, so.
Well, the thing is, all property owners have rights, and
Yeah.
they're just choosing to drag theirs out to the bitter end.
I'm just it's kind of like, if you look at it as an algorithm, it's like, well, if this happens, then it goes, through these steps. And if this happens, then it goes through these steps. So I'm just trying to follow along because there are people who will ask
Well,
what happened here. And
hopefully this will have some teeth to it. They should take this very seriously.
well, I'm hoping, it would be nice if you heard from them one way or the other, what their intention was for the property.
So
Thanks,
to
Mary.
stay in touch, Mary, you can reach out to Patrick or to Mike, probably more Mike. He would probably be the one that would know in the next 90 days what's happening, if anything.
I guess my next time where I would kind of check in would be at that 20-day mark to see if the property owner has responded. And then if not, then, 90 days to see where we are in the process. So, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. Item 8B, this is a transfer of certain funds. Tom, you going to handle this?
I will handle this one.
You got a bunch of them.
Yeah. The next two, this one and the next item, are year-end cleanup things. We're required, if we transfer money from one fund to another, for the board to pass a resolution authorizing that transfer. The first 6 transfers that were made were all part of the 2025 budget. The first one being $15,000 to the general fund from the EDA fund to pay for part of the Township Day, and then help offset some of the costs of maintaining the Old Town Hall. Items 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were all part of the budget. The first 2, 3, and 4 are the water fund, sewer fund, and stormwater fund share of the 2025 bond payments for the 2019, 2020, and 2021 bonds. And then item number 5, again, was part of the budget. It's a transfer of $150,000 from the general fund for seal coating, and then $357,000, or just over $357,000, for the 2025 road improvements from our state road improvement fund. Then we have a $375,000 transfer from the general fund to the park improvement fund for its, to help fund park improvements, mainly replacing playground equipment, other equipment in the parks as needed. And then the last one, which was not part of the budget, but it seems like we're never getting ahead on this one. Currently, the Polar Lakes Park Improvement Fund has a negative cash balance due to cost overruns with the bathroom and then the playground replacement there. So we're taking $830,000 from the Park Improvement Fund and moving it over to Polar Lakes Park improvements to basically zero out the negative cash balance in the Polar Lake Park Improvement Fund. So all the funds will then have either a zero balance or at least a positive balance going into 2026. Again, you need to pass a resolution. These transfers total just over $2,180,000 for 20 and 25. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Beth?
No.
Steve?
As you said, this is something that we do primarily every year.
Yep.
To
Yes, it
balance
is.
out the books, basically.
Yep.
Okay, I have no other questions.
So it's just more house cleaning. Obviously, we're just moving funds. It's not like it's out of pocket or in the pocket. It's just pushing them around.
It's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to put it.
All right, hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the transfer of funds?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-92, which is the resolution approving the transfer of certain funds for the town of White Bear.
I'll second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving on, Tom. 8C is the fund balance classifications.
Again, this is year-end cleanup stuff. The town has different fund balances that are either restricted or non-spendable or assigned. The ones for 2025 are exactly the same ones as 2024 and in the exact same amount. We only have 3 of them in the Park Acquisition Fund. A number of years ago, we were given a donation, and that money was to be used to develop Rutherford Park. So those funds are restricted by the donation. So that totals $6,385.36. So that is restricted within the Park Acquisition Fund. Then the EDA fund still owns some land that we're trying to sell for development. So it's held in land held for resale. It's basically non-spendable. We don't have the cash, so we can't spend it. So until we do sell those land, that amount is $1,124,312. And then finally, a number of years ago, the board assigned $250,000 in the stormwater fund for Stillwater Street drainage improvements. Whenever that gets done in the future, we've already set $250,000 aside for that. And tonight, all we're looking for is the board to approve these fund classifications.
Well, I'm glad to see there's no Tom Kelly fund.
Look harder.
All right, Steve, any questions, comments?
Just one comment, in that $1,124,000 land, that includes the Stacker property and the developable property near the airport, is that what's in
It
that?
does.
Okay, so when those, if we're lucky enough to sell those properties, that money goes where then? Then it can be assigned through the general fund?
No.
That's EDA.
Because we purchased those with EDA funds, they have to meet the same restrictions as the funds that we use to purchase them. So they're pretty much restricted within the EDA fund.
Goes back to be spent later.
Which by the way, is a lot better now.
And it's very possible that property may sit till we assume ownership of the airport, and then it would be all combined into one big chunk of property.
I think the EDA does own the airport. We're just leasing the land.
Well, correct, but we can't do anything with it for,
Correct.
I don't know, what's the date?
10 more years.
20, yeah.
Good luck with that, Patrick.
And the Stacker property currently is
EDA land too.
EDA land, and it's being marketed as we sit
Single-family
here.
homes right now.
Yeah.
Any takers? It's kind of small, wasn't it?
Yeah, I get nibbles at it
Okay.
a couple times a year. Nobody follows through on it though.
There's some cleanup going on, not cleanup, some in-house keeping that, because it's on the comp plan as township property. I think it's being cleared up through the planning commission. Just heard it this last week to get the land where it's clear for selling. So,
All right, any other questions, comments?
no.
Otherwise, I need a motion.
Whoop, hold it. Oh,
You gotta, come on up, I need a name and an address.
My name is Don Harvey. I live at 748 Gilfilm Lane. And I just want to know, is any of this discussion confined to the board, or can we question anything?
Well, if it pertains to this particular item, otherwise, we have an open time, you can talk about anything you want. That'll be at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, but not this item. I don't have a question.
Okay, yeah, at the end of the meeting, you can talk whatever you want.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep. Okay. So I'll move based on the finance officer's review and recommendation, approve the 2025 fund balance classifications.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item D is the debt reduction.
Yes, this is the first item related to the 2026 budget. The township now has 4 different bond issues that we've issued. When we issued the bonds, a certain portion was to be paid through a tax levy. However, if the township has other funds available to them to reduce the debt levy, we can apply that, and the board has to pass a resolution to that effect that it's going to use those funds only to repay the debt and lower the debt levy. So in total, between the 4 issues, it's the 2019 improvement bond, the 2020 improvement bond, and then the 2021 improvement and utility bond, and then again the 2025 improvement and utility bond. In total, the town board could levy $827,164.96 to pay off the 2026 portion of debt. However, we do have $157,164.96, so we're actually lowering the debt levy by that amount, and thus we're only going to levy to repay the debt $670,000 for 2026. And this is all part of the bond sale. It's all laid out as how the bond's going to be repaid in the future. So again, with that, I'll ask for any questions.
Beth? No. Steve?
No.
I know I talked to you today, Tom, because I was confused if this was part of last year when we set up the budget. I thought this was afterwards, but it's before, so now I'm clear on it. All right, hearing no other discussion, I need a motion to approve the debt reduction.
I'll make a motion based on the finance officer's review and recommendations, adopt the resolution reducing the tax levy pursuant to Minnesota statute 475.61.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on. Item E is the 2026 property tax levy.
Okay, once again, a few weeks ago on December 1st, we held our annual town budget meeting. At that meeting, residents approved a tax levy of $6,647,187. We cannot exceed that amount tonight. However, we could go below that. However, before you, again, it requires the town board to pass a resolution so that we can certify this levy to Ramsey County before the end of the year. So before you is Resolution 25-94, approving a property tax levy of $6,647,187. That is made up of our operating levy of $5,525,726. Fiscal disparities is then added to that of $451,461, and then the debt levy that you just approved of $670,000. That makes up the full $6,647,178 that the town residents approved at the December 1st meeting.
And Tom, before we approve that, or approving that by the Board of Supervisors tonight does not in any way limit our discussion on your next agenda item, correct?
No, it does not.
Okay.
All right, questions, comments? Come on up, name and address.
Did you say that the budget could be lowered tonight?
The budget and the tax levy can be lowered than what was approved at the December 1st meeting, but we cannot exceed that.
Yes, but did you say it could be lowered?
It could be.
Okay, that's what I like. No, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, I need a motion on the property tax levy.
I'll make a motion on Resolution 25-94, adopt the amount to be raised by property taxation for the year 2026 for $6,647,187.
A second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, item F, this is the 2026 operating budget.
Yes, now tonight, you do have to approve the 2026 operating budget. As you recall, at the December 1st meeting, budget meeting, residents did approve reducing the tax levy and thus the general fund budget. We have to lower the budget by $80,626, which would give us a operating budget of $6,878,147. So now it's up to the town board to decide where they would like to get that $80,626, where they're going to reduce the budget from that. In your packet, there are four possible solutions. One is to reduce the equipment rental expense. Right now, our equipment rental is funded at 100%. By reducing the equipment rental, if we did the full amount of if we do any amount, we're basically going to have to push off one or two of the big items that are scheduled currently to be replaced in 2026. One is the front end loader, which is estimated at $350,000, or the street sweeper at $650,000. Both of those would have to be pushed back to either 2027 or even 2028, based on getting our equipment rental expense back to being 100% in the 2027 budget cycle. Option number two is to reduce the park improvement transfer, currently at $375,000. If we reduced it the full amount, it would be down to $294,374. Again, this would push back the park improvements that are planned for 2026 6, which is mainly a playground. We'd have to push that back at least 1 year. And then, of course, because there's other playgrounds that are being planned to be replaced in 2027 and 2028 and so forth, it would probably push those back a year or two based on current cash flows. The other one would be to eliminate the Township Day and the movies in the park. That would save just over around $49,450. We'd still need to either from the park improvement transfer or the equipment rental expense or some other place, pick up another $31,176. And then the fourth option would be to eliminate the Public Works summer help, which would reduce the budget about $66,463. However, the summer help, they mainly help out Public Works with mowing, both the parks around town, the town offices, the trails, around the trails, and then they do a lot of the street patching. So those items would then be pushed back onto our Public Works employees, which would probably affect how often parks and stuff are mowed and even how quickly streets are patched. So with that, I'll open up for discussion on where to reduce the budget by $80,626 based on the town's residents' vote at the annual budget meeting.
Beth, comments or questions?
I do. Just out of idle curiosity, because I don't know. You've got 4 items listed. Are they an all or nothing, or could you take some out of item number 1, 2, and 4 if you wanted to? Or do you have to do an all or nothing?
No, you could mix and match however
Okay.
you want. Unfortunately, because of cash flows in both the Park Improvement Fund and in the Equipment Fund, it's going to have the same effect of pushing the purchases back.
Would you remind me? Don't we rent a street sweeper right now, or?
No, we don't rent a street sweeper. For the big spring and fall sweeping, we do hire an outside company to do it. However, we still have our street sweeper where we use it for miscellaneous cleanup work around. And I don't know what else they use it for other than miscellaneous cleanup here and there.
Is it an elderly street sweeper?
The one we have currently, yes.
How old is it? Just
Well, it's like Ed age.
holy crap!
Right across the bow.
Well, not that quite.
I think the one they're using now is the one they replaced, I want to say, probably in 2000, well, it's probably around 2000
Happened
when
while
they
I've been here,
replaced
so it's
it.
been a while.
And that one they bought that one because the previous one, they were sweeping the streets and it caught on fire.
So what are we,
It's time to replace it.
so what are we paying for rental of the sweeper?
The fall and spring sweeping, we generally budget around, I want to say, maybe a couple $100,000, and it comes out of the stormwater fund.
So to add on this little extra that our out-of-date and out-of-touch sweeper is doing would cost us a heck of a lot more versus the $650,000 price.
What else you got, Beth?
No, I'm in favor of picking and choosing.
Or mixing them. Okay.
Steve?
Well, I'm mixing and choosing also, but I'm not in favor of cutting anything in particular all. So You know, I'll just say this. If we can rent a sweeper and add whatever we need for this other sweeping business and still be less than that, we're in a budget crunch. So
Can we buy one that's like half-life? I mean, you know,
I think Dale's been asked before and they're not available. You might be
Everybody
able-
runs them into the ground and then they're worthless.
I think we tried to use from Hugo or someplace in the past, and that's kind
Oh,
of,
it's Hugo, you're right.
yeah, when they're not using it, then we can, but maybe there's an opportunity to save some.
well, it seems like it'd be kind of a smart idea if we could make deals with, you know, our neighbors around us, perhaps.
We have been,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, but always.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be heartbreaking to lose a street sweeper for the moment. And that literally would be the easiest thing to,
You'll upset Scott, our former supervisor. But beyond that.
well, you know,
He's not
out
here.
with the old. He's sitting in council bluffs.
That guy.
So Ed, what's your thought?
All right, item 3, eliminating township days is off the table. I refuse to vote for that. And item 4, I don't understand why we would not want to keep our parks running in the summer with lawn keeping and garbage pickup and just general maintenance. That seems a little, I mean, if we can't have parks in the township, why are we here?
Well, we've got 25 of them.
Well, so that leaves either option 1 or 2. Any of these options, all we're doing is kicking the can down the road. All we're doing is pushing them off, and it's going to come back up in a next year or the year after budget, and then it's going to make our levy more again.
It has
So
happened in the past.
I don't see anything in here we're just going to eliminate and save 80 grand.
Well, the thing is, we actually had to do something like this, though, in 2008. Remember when, I mean, when things were really ugly, you guys deferred and deferred, and it was actually, I thought, a really good thing that you did.
I don't know. We deferred roads for how long, Larry? And now we're trying to catch up, and that's why we're bonding
I know.
$600,000 in a year. So, me personally, I think the easiest, the most effective thing to do is just push off any park projects. And that's where I stand.
That's number 2.
Yep.
Well, you had mentioned before we didn't really have a good idea of, some parks are heavily used, some are not. I mean, we may not have to, we should probably get a better handle on that.
Well, that isn't going to help tonight.
I got that. Okay, so tonight we got to make a decision. Got it. No
Well,
other
that's
things?
my vote. Option 2 to me is the best for me. I don't, like I said, one, anytime we reduce anything in public works, that's an amenity to the town residents. I don't want to cut.
And that is why I wasn't going to touch the front end loader, because that is used, it's necessary. Sweeper,
And we've been pushing that back before. It's been pushed back for a couple of years now, I believe.
I
So,
do realize that. And pushing a park playground back 1 year is not the end of the world. Okay, I get that, but
Well, that one
you-
seems the most painless.
but as you stated, it comes back, every one of these comes back to haunt us at some point. So there's no easy solution. And I agree with you on the park, movies in the park and township days. It's an amenity that is well beyond just the citizens of our township. It's an eye opener for the whole area. It's regional, and but it was a possibility. I grant that.
and our Publix Park brought in the hockey tournaments. And it look like there might be a few more things in the works. So that's important to keep that part of our center of our township intact. I don't want to touch that either. So like that's my vote.
Number 2?
Yep.
I can live with number 2.
Only with number 2, not mixing and
No,
matching.
I just take the 80 out of those coming up park improvements. They're going to come up again in the next couple of years, and then we'll have to deal with the budget jumping up again, and we'll deal with them then.
So what's your big heartburn over renting the sweeper longer?
I don't really have a heartburn over it. I don't want to see our public works guys start on fire.
Well, nor do I, but we've been renting now. So,
No, I mean, and it gets down to the cost of renting compared to the cost of buying a piece of equipment. We talked about this. This is why I vetoed a bucket truck for trimming trees. Insurance costs are outrageous, and they're very expensive vehicles. And if we can rent that out, where we're not putting our public works in jeopardy, I was good with that. But some of the stuff, when you need a sweeper and we call Hugo, and, oh, it's not available for 3 weeks, then we're scrambling around trying to find somebody else, so.
However, if you're contracting, I'll just make my last little pitch at it. If we're contracting to do sweeping, I'm sure there are sweeping services out there that are willing to come up and do what we need done when we need them done. No different.
That would be true, because I've contracted with them.
However,
We don't have a public works director here to
no.
state his case on that one.
Well, if he felt strongly, he should have been here.
I mean, it comes up
He's
all
on
the time.
vacation.
And to your point, Mr. Chair, I do agree that, our public works group needs the equipment to do their job. So I'm not going to have total heartburn over this. I'll live with number 2, as you two have stated. So I think we can.
For what it's worth, I can live with both 1 and 2.
All right,
Make a motion. Where to cut?
you want to come up, state your name and address for the record?
Thanks. Tim David, 5294 Bald Eagle Boulevard East. I've been following the budget discussions, obviously pretty close. And I did get a chance to review the 1, 2, 3, and 4 options. And I just have some comments that I'd like to input. Without question, my eye caught the sweeper also, $650,000. That is what we would call material. That's a cost that is transformative. Some of these other things are important, but they don't put up that flag like $650,000. I'm going to guess $650,000 is a brand new sweeper. I appreciate that Public Works needs equipment. I spent many years in Public Works. But a $650,000 new sweeper, it sounds kind of like an A-plus equipment upgrade. I wonder if the township couldn't reevaluate and consider a either rental contract or a used sweeper. Quick search, 2019 6-year-old Elgin Pelican CNG street sweeper. It's only got 3.5 cubic yards capacity, but those go for $90,000. That may be a little small, so let's go up to the 2018 Freightliner Elgin Broom Bear, 4.5 cubic yard hopper. It's got 900 PTO hours on it. It's available. $200,000. So this is just a quick search.
Well, the only problem is we can only buy through contracted services through the state. We can't just buy in the open market.
Sure, but this looks to be market rates. So I would hope that the purchasing contracts through the state actually provide some discounts. Having worked at the procurement services at the state of Minnesota, if you're buying in bulk, if you are able to use that contract, you should maybe be able to get even better than contract
I
prices.
believe I brought this up a number of times, and I've been pretty much told if it's not through a licensed contractor, we can't do it. But, well, okay, sorry.
But the point is, we're looking at $650,000. If the residents around the township realize that's a purchase of an A-plus brand new piece of equipment, and we're just trying to cut $80,000, boy, that's a big flag. And some of these other things, thank goodness you said Township Days movies off in the park, $49,000. $49,000 is not that material. $650,000 is material. And I'm going to guess your street sweeper is used typically spring and fall to fulfill your NPDES requirements. So maybe you use it occasionally around the city. I would hope there's a business case about Public Works put forward that they want us to spend $650,000. Does that business case tell us a cost-benefit analysis? Does it really make sense versus some of the alternatives, even if you have to go through a state contract? I think we need a little more diligence on this type of purchase. Maybe the front end loader needs to go through that also, but it sounds like you use that more hours. I think if you choose number 1, at a minimum, you have time to reevaluate the purchase of $650,000 sweeper. And that's material. That is a huge item. Are there other options? Rental, contract, et cetera. Okay. A number of these deal with park improvements. I've been on the park board now for 4 years, and my first comments were in the shoes of the resident. Now I'm in the shoes of the park board participant. 4 years. Our park board has become much more robust. We are being much more diligent about the park board improvements and how that money might be allocated. We think there's an opportunity to look at the playground installations, maybe a better look at the demographics. Are those being used properly? Where's the best place to put the money? What are the demographics around those neighborhoods? Are there young children? Will there be young children? Who will use it? Are we applying our playground dollars in the right place? So I think that's going to give us more chance to scrutinize that. Also regarding mowing parks, as an example, as we have toured a number of the parks, and we do have 25 parks. It's a great park system, tremendous, great value asset to all the township residents. But as we tour some of these 10-acre parks, some of our park board members are not sure we need to mow 10 acres. So should we maybe mow 5 acres? Should we do natural plantings and let that not be mowed? So I think there's opportunities to look at a little bit reduced mowing. It doesn't mean to stop all mowing, but there might be some opportunity to reduce costs there also. So I think I'm going to make my last couple pitches. I know also the tree removal that the township has conducted in the past couple of years, you spend an average about $75,000. You have been removing ash in some wooded areas. And I know emerald ash borer is a significant issue. And the emerald ash borer management plan states that we need to remove ash in right-of-way and maintained areas. You have contracted on occasion for up to $25,000 plus for removing ash in wooded areas that are not right-of-way nor maintained areas of parks. I think that needs to be evaluated. There's an opportunity to reduce some costs. You also have an opportunity perhaps to reduce some FTEs in the front office. We've got a big staff. Do they need to be fulfilling all those hours in the office currently? Perhaps at the front desk. Playground equipment improvement, we talked about that. We need to evaluate if that's the best way to spend the money at each of the playground sites. With that said, I would encourage a 1 and a 2, and maybe a bit of number 4. And I would encourage the township always to look for cost improvements. I will offer that I appreciate the township tremendously. That's why I've been here 60 years. I think we can do a great job. But in this economic environment, I'm pushing hard, but it's not just me. I keep in touch with a lot of township residents, and I'm trying to represent them also. And we're asking for the board to apply some really due diligence on fiscal responsibility with our tax dollars. Thanks.
Right, thank you. You brought up a lot of good points, and there's an opportunity for all that to be discussed in the future, but as of right now tonight, we have to make a decision, so.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dan Turcott, 4610 Greenhaven Drive, White Bear Township. We're talking 2%, right? $80,000 is what I'm roughly hearing. If we kick it down the road. If we kick this down the road, the 2% that we're trying to save, is that something we have to do? I'm just looking at the realistic of everything going on right now. We're trying to save 2%, but what is it going to cost us next year? 4% more to save 2%? Is it going to cost us 6% more to save 2%? If we have to buy equipment next year instead of this year, everything's just gradually going up. You know, if you even look at the cost of living, it's 6 or 7%, right? 8% maybe. So I know we're looking at 2%, but is it going to cost us an additional 6% to try and save this 2% this year? Is this something that was voted in that you have to, that the residents vote in that you have to stick with? Or is this something the board has that option to not change?
Well, I will let our town attorney answer
There's
that.
absolutely no option other than to follow what the town citizens adopted 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so we have to cut 2% then.
Correct.
That's it. There's no getting around it.
Oh. That's statute.
That statute. Okay, that's just my opinion. I appreciate everything everyone on the board
But you make a good
does.
point. That's why I'm saying, if you kick it down the road, we don't know what it's going to cost down the road.
Exactly. I think it's going to cost us more money next year and the year after and the year after, and doesn't matter if this 2% now is only going to continue to build if you keep on kicking the projects further and further down the road. If it takes us 10 years to come back from 2%, it's going to cost us 100%.
And there's not a lot of places for us to just take 2% and eliminate that.
Yeah.
We just don't have things we can just say, we can do without now, forget them.
Wasn't it only 1%?
I don't remember the exact
Whatever
number.
the exact
Yeah, I
percentage
thought,
is.
ex-
See,
Yeah.
well, some down to 7, wasn't it? Was-
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
What
you.
was the percentage cut?
the other thing is, I think people were hit so hard with property taxes this year. And they were angry.
Percentage?
Right.
Wouldn't you just take the amount that's being requested to back out from your general operating budget? He's got the calculator. But your point is well taken. It's a small enough amount that.
I think the township does an excellent job on our budget. We work on it all year long. We got a great staff. And actually, for amount of people in the township, 11,000 people, we are literally understaffed. Every time we get audited, every year they say, you guys are too small. You need more people to handle what we do. And we try to keep it minimized. In fact, last year, we even eliminated the variance board and combined it with the planning commission, just to try to expedite and make us a little more efficient. So everything we do, there's no frill in this budget. So when you want to talk about deductions, usually if we're gonna move something out of the budget, it's gonna get, just like I said, kicked down the road. It's gonna come back up. And now, whether it's 2% this year, now it is 6% later, it's gonna come back up, whether it's this board or the next board. We're all gonna have to keep dealing with this every year, so.
I think one of the things that I've kind of been hearing though is it correlates to the fact that everybody is understanding that we're pretty much built out. And I think residents are kind of looking at, can't we be slimming down our staff because we're all built out? I think that's one of, I mean, I hear that's an argument I hear quite often.
I don't know where we would slim staff down.
No, I'm just, but you've got to, I mean, if people are wondering about it, we need to address it, I think, because I hear it often enough.
It's comparative that, and your point about being built out is totally accurate. We've had discussions, as you've been involved in, about our redevelopment phase that we're going to be getting into here shortly. But when we did an evaluation of our staff, this is last year, where we compared other municipalities of same population.
Well, the thing is,
we're 15% to almost 50% less on our staff. So, I mean, what Ed said is absolutely true. I think we're pretty efficient. I think we're pretty good about things. We do get busy.
Yeah. No,
we
I
get
don't.
behind.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's something that comes up often enough because people are thinking, oh, well, then we're kind of going into a maintenance phase because we're not, I mean, I was on planning commission for a long time, so was Ed. And we had a lot of projects that come through, but they weren't anymore. So, I mean, I think that's a fair question, like, why we're going into a maintenance phase, and you're right, but to me, it seems like the redevelopment would basically be tearing down literally old houses, which you're seeing a lot of,
We wouldn't be
But you should
creating
also
that.
remember, we are already doing that. We lost our town planner, now we're contracting it. That was an employee we just didn't replace.
Yep.
So we are trying to be as efficient wherever we can. There's just certain spots, you can't cut service to the residents. I don't want to live in this township if we're going to do that. That's why we're sitting here.
I get that.
That's
but
why people want to live here and not across the border.
I love living in the township too, but I just think, like our residents seem to be getting more interested because there's an awful, I mean, the property tax rate hike this year just really set people off.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but you can't, it's not fair or practical to blame what the county did on the staff. I've sat through many meetings with our auditors, external auditors, and to Ted's point, they point out segregation of duties is a factor within the township because we don't have extra staff to fill some of the voids for financial responsibility. And every year, the impact from the state requirements, the county requirements on staff,
The federal
and the federal requirements for reporting, it continues to go up. It doesn't go down. And so you have to have staff in place to do that.
I agree with you, but here's the thing, we're not getting that message out to the residents. I mean, I sit in these meetings with you guys and I get why it was, I mean, I voted for the increase, so I was with you on that. But I think, we need to get the messaging out to people so they understand, because, there was anger and people don't always, I mean, hell, I was mad, but you could just see that's what a lot of it was. And I don't know how we get that out there.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sorry to say the township is the bottom of the totem pole. The feds go to the state, and the state goes to the county, and the county comes to us. We get unfunded mandates all the time. Well, look at how much is it? $160,000 for the County Road J cost sharing. We don't have a choice.
That's
It's
the same
just-
argument the county put out on taxation aid, by the way.
So you can go down the list. We've got a
Yeah.
number of things that just they keep continuously falling on us, and we got to try to. And I know Logan's got his hand. You have to use the restroom, Logan.
I do need to use the restroom, and I wanted to make a public statement about it. No, my name is Logan Guion. I am 12599 Europe Avenue North, Hugo. But I do. I'm a contributing writer for the White Bear Press, among other presses with press publications. Common thread. So I not only cover notes for the White Bear Township, I also cover the White Bear Lake Area School Board, and they just had their truth and taxation meeting, which Ralph was at. Really weird. Put that aside.
Where is he today?
My question is, many citizens are really frustrated and scared about their rising property taxes, like you're commenting now. And the response at the school board was the same. It's all mandated. So my question, and I don't know if this is the appropriate venue to officially answer, maybe that's for Chad to direct. Where does the buck stop? Where should citizens be looking to make positive changes? It seems like Ramsey County or Washington County. It seems like maybe the Metropolitan Council. State, that's really big. Federal, okay, I guess. But that, how can I direct our readers?
They need to go start talking to our legislation. You know what? Like I said, you can talk to us all you want, but when we're handed all this stuff to us, our county commissioners should be standing here explaining why the taxes went up. And they should be explaining how they're spending, I don't know, what was it? 23 million on NGOs. I'd like to.
38, I believe.
38.
38.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that answer. It's like, but it's just passed to us. No, so, and I get it, but unless somebody gets active beyond this board, I mean, our state legislators are the ones you got to go to.
So when you say state legislatures, you mean like for Minnesota House of Representatives?
Yep.
Okay, so not necessarily county commissioners.
Well, I mean, it's our local reps too. Our I'm drawing a blank. Senator Gustafson and Dibble, and these are all people that's part of our district. So that's where you got to go. And some of them, well, that's how we happened to get secured $7 million for road projects. They were looking out for us to try to help us, but that's a one-time deal. Townships just don't have that. That little privilege of getting funding from every year. So,
And remember, as we've said many, many times, we do not get LGA. We do not get state highway aid. We are considering those two shortfalls. Operating the way that we do is to be commended to our supervisors. So.
I am also aware, and I also share Beth's question there. How do we get the message out? And I think directing readers on what you had just said, Ed. So thank you very much.
thank you.
I
Excellent.
think we should go after the Ramsey County Commissioners just because they were the same. When I've attended some of their meetings, they're perfectly satisfied. Oh, we really have to do these unfunded mandates. And they're kind of a choice. It doesn't seem like they're being directed to it. I mean, it's wonderful to be a do-gooder on somebody else's dime, but
Yeah.
the taxpayers are kind of getting fed up.
Keep in mind the costs you expend in water quality, those mandates come from the Minnesota Department of Health and the EPA. They do not come from the county, they do not come from Met Council.
Yeah.
They come from agencies, federal and state.
We had MS4 created for us 4 years ago, and we have put in huge amounts of staff and consultant time just to get compliant. And it was completely new.
And I asked for that
Everything.
number. It's almost hard to put a number on it because it's so convoluted, and it is stretching some of our staff time to cover all this stuff.
What's the punishment if we don't do it?
Fines.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we talk to everybody else and it's like basically hold back our money?
Just a little side note, you know what MS4 stands for?
Go
Is
ahead.
anybody here?
Yeah, municipal stormwater.
It stands for Municipal
stormwater.
Separate Storm Sewer System.
Yeah, and it's measurement and the reduction of sediment in the water, correct?
So every drop that rains on us, we got to account for.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a statement. I know the state and the federal aren't going to help this discussion right now. It seems to me that the issue is you three have to make a decision of what the cut is without any reference to the state, federal, and everything.
Well, absolutely. And that's what we're going to do tonight.
They're doing here
Trying
tonight.
to do.
Well, that's
They made a good point. Let's move on here.
not quite correct.
We're getting in the weeds.
The township has to be able to fund these mandates, whether the township likes it or not.
Yes, sir.
Jim DeJarla, 731 Gilfilm Lane. And I just want to make sure I'm following this. In the White Bear Township, it said that the board will accept or decline the numbers at the next meeting. That's what was just happened with letter E, right? The board accepted to,
That was a property tax levy.
yeah, and that was accepted then?
Yes.
Okay, because it said during the meeting, open time during which township residents will have a final opportunity to comment. That's not going to help us change anything. It's just fact we can still give our opinion of what we feel is going.
Right.
And I agree with Beth that the message needs to get out because people are feeling the pinch with everything going up for them. She said it very well. And the cost of living increases from Social Security or pensions, if you have one that has a cost of living adjustment, don't keep up with these 7%, 8%, 9% increases. And I was going to liken it to the fact that, I'm on our association board and we have a budget, just like you have a budget. Once we get to where we've exceeded that number, we can't do anything else. We can't, just do an assessment. We have to wait until next year and we're limited to a 5% increase. And it just seems like, as you say, it comes from the top, federal, state, local. Whenever there's a shortfall, the easy option is to just increase taxes on something. And that's where our frustration lies. And I hope that somehow this gets, addressed somewhere during my lifetime and, kind of can go up the ladder and make an impact. But it's just tough for people who are retired. We moved here and property taxes have almost doubled in 9 years. And you know the story.
Oh, yeah.
We all live it.
New,
We're all township residents, believe me.
$4,000 in 2 years.
Thank you.
On one point, under the statute, the electors, which are the citizens of the township, set the annual levy, which is what we did two weeks ago. That's statutorily required. So once the electors, the citizens set that, the town board has to comply. There's no choice in the matter. So we're clear on that point.
All right, come on up.
Tim David, 5294 Bald Eagle Boulevard East. Just three quick clarifications. One is the focus on HR, staff, FTEs, is any organization in almost any industry, its largest cost is HR. There's no question about it. So when you're looking at cost reductions, that's part of why you aim towards or take a look at that category. If the township has good ratios and meets best practices, great. That's super. So I don't want to be misunderstood there. The second greatest cost typically is physical assets. So it's things like street sweepers. And that $650,000 possible expenditure on a street sweeper is one of those big ticket transformational items that could be evaluated. And lastly, $80,000 cut into a $7 million budget is 1.14%. So I think we should just be careful with numbers. If somebody's throwing a 2% out, I don't think that was.
But again, we play those numbers because it's not out of the $7 million budget. I think it's only about 1.7 that we have room for this cut, not the whole budget. We have fixed costs.
Discretionary spending, I understand that, but it's an overall $80,000 that is coming off the general operating budget.
Yep. And
Right.
they need to do that. Yep.
All right. The board beat this up enough? I've stated my opinion.
Well, my opinion is that I think in this economic time, we cannot afford to buy a street sweeper for $650,000. The citizens, you heard the commentary tonight, and I don't disagree with that. I think it's got to be increase their willingness to rent or purchase a used street sweeper such as available, and push park projects out.
So, Tom, let me ask you this, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind. I mean, if we budget for what ends up being $570,000 for a new street sweeper or a new to us street sweeper, I mean, is it that easy, or does that affect the formula elsewhere?
Well, when we reduce the equipment rental, it affects the cash flow in our equipment rental, our equipment fund.
Yep.
Because we're already teetering on going into the red, that's why I say we've got to push it back if we do any
Specifically in the equipment fund?
Yes.
Not the township in general?
No, not the township. It's the equipment fund that doesn't have the cash flow. Likewise, park improvement fund doesn't have the cash flow to withstand any type of a cut and keep purchasing park improvements.
So not to get too far in the weeds and the technicalities of how you formulate this stuff in your budget, I mean, if we're going to, I don't want to say underfund, but we're going to lessen the fund by $80,000, and we end up purchasing a piece of equipment that's $570,000, does that affect the overall fund? Is it going to lessen the amount in there? Or does it just stay the same?
It'll lower the cash amount in there, which will then affect purchases down the road.
Which, I mean, in theory, we could buy at better deals or maybe get them at different prices, right?
You could.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to keep saying this, you can do that, it's just getting moved. It's going to get moved. So it's
Totally
up to,
agree with you.
it's just up to this board. What do you want to move? What do you want to just kick down the road for another year or two and it comes back up?
Beth?
I have to admit, I'm leaning towards the park improvement transfer. But I can live with one or two.
Steve?
You've already said what you're going to do. I'll go along with it.
Well, I need a motion then.
Beth, go ahead.
Oh, you're going to leave it to me to pick
I
one or
am.
two? Wow, that's harsh. Okay, I think we need to research more options on the street sweeper. So I'll make a motion to accept option number 1 for the, what's the motion I want to make here?
Tom, you want to help her out?
Yeah, what you'd be doing is you would be, I think what you need to do is adopt the resolution as submitted with the direction of staff to reduce the equipment rental expense by the $80,626.
So it's essentially, I'm going to make a motion to,
It's already written that I'm supposed to do this.
Oh, yeah, your name is on the resolution.
In other words, we got to redo it, and I don't know
no,
if
it's
it's a
fine.
formality.
I can live with it. I've said
figured
my
you could,
piece, you know.
So whatever you just told her needs to be, that's what we should change the resolution to read for adopting the budget on 2595.
Is it
Resolution.
2595? Okay.
So
read it to what you think it's going to say. So.
yeah, so you're going with option 1,
Yep.
reducing rental equipment?
So he's making that motion, then you got to get a second.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Okay.
Like I said, and in
I know.
2 years, we're going to be talking about this again, so.
Yeah, you're right.
But at that time, we'll have some options, Ed.
All right.
It's not the first time we've had to do this.
Moving on.
Okay.
Let's see, we got the capital improvement plan.
All right. Excuse me. Now, based on the action that you just did, I need the town board to approve the proposed 2026 to 2030 2035 capital improvement plan with the caveat that we will be moving the street sweeper to 2027 or further out, I guess.
Well, that's the only change.
That would be the only change to this plan at this time.
All right, questions, comments?
So in the 2026 capital improvement listing there, under park acquisition funds, that's a enterprise fund, it's got $1.4 million.
That is from the Park Acquisition Fund, which can only be used for new park and trail improvements.
Yep, okay. No, nothing else.
Okay, hearing no other discussion. I need a motion on the CIP.
I'll move based on the finance officer's review and recommendations, adopt the 2026 to 2035 capital improvement plan with the amendment made at the meeting tonight.
A second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And be consistent? Nay.
Boy.
Duly noted.
All right, moving on. Item H is the utility rates.
All right, I believe this is my last agenda item for the night. The Utility Commission annually reviews the utility rates. Their goal is to have utility rates cover 100% of the operation of that fund and then 75% of the depreciation. These rates do that. We use the following assumptions. For water usage, we're using a 5-year average water consumption. This eliminates years where it's wet or dry. Those fluctuations, giving us a 5-year, gives us more consistent water use. The sewer rates are based on the January to March 2025 water usage. Our personnel services did include a 6% increase, supplies 3%, and then the improvements that were listed in the 2026-2035 capital improvement plan are in this projection, and then so are the transfers for the various bond issues. Based on that, and the fund projections, the Utility Commission is recommending that the water residential base rate remain at $45.50 or be increased to $45.50 from $45. Excuse me. The tiered rates for water would remain the same. Which would be 0 to 10,000 gallons would be at $2.60. 10,000 to 20,000 would be at $2.85. Tier 3 would be 20,000 to 32. It should be 30,000. Would be $3.85, and then anything over 30,000 would be at $6.70. Commercial has similar rates. And then the irrigation for residential and commercial would be based on actual water use on the irrigation meter and be billed at $6.85 per thousand. The base rate for sanitary sewer would remain at the $36 that it currently is at, so no increase there. However, the volume rate for sewer would increase 25 cents from $5.75 to $6 per quarter. And then our stormwater rate would take another 50 cent a quarter hike from $25 to $25.50. This sanitary sewer or the stormwater fund is trying to play a little bit of catch up. As you said, the state keeps requiring us to do more and more stormwater activities, and based on that, we have more and more stormwater projects that we need to fund out of that fund. So with that, I'm asking the town board to adopt these rates for 2026.
Is this even keeping up with depreciation?
It is.
Okay. That's my.
The only one that we've really been, you can see from the history, we've been increasing the stormwater rate 50 cents each year. And like I say, that's the one that seems like every year we get more and more projects that we have to do to meet different guidelines and stuff. And so that's the one that it's the fund still has positive cash flow, but if we continue on having to do more and more of these projects, that the cash balance is going to get closer and closer to zero.
Mm-hmm. All right. Beth, questions, comments?
Nope. Questions, no comments.
Were you on the utility commission for this?
I don't believe I was, I think I wasn't at this meeting.
Okay. Steve, anything?
Oh, I asked my question.
This is pretty minuscule compared to $80,000. All right, hearing no other discussion, I need a motion to approve the utility rate.
So moved.
Steve,
Second?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Mr.
All right.
Chair, if I may, one more piece of business from our board meeting on December 1st. And Chad, I'll need your direction on this. The residents requested, because of challenges with parking in this parking lot, they have requested that moving this back to Otter Lake Elementary would be easier to negotiate with the crowd. I would suggest, and I don't know if we can do this, Chad, tell me if we can or not. I would suggest that we keep it here because of our ability to broadcast everything, rather than having 8 technicians come out and moving equipment to Otter Lake Elementary and setting up for it there.
I'll have, the question, I have to double check.
Okay.
I have one question. The citizens did vote to move the annual meeting to Otter Lake School, the alternative being
Here.
if Otter Lake was not available. I don't like to answer this question off the top of my head because it's kind of important, but I will say this, as I view it, I don't think the citizens really control where the meeting is held.
Okay.
But I'll make sure on that.
Double check for me, because
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier to hold it here in the way that we had technology pull off TK from a ship. I don't know if that would be available to us at Otter Lake Elementary.
I'll double check that.
Plus, when we used to have our annual meetings there, it was cable trucks and
Yeah, it was-
cameras, and it seemed like it wasn't the most cohesive coverage of the meeting.
Right.
But
Tom?
something, Steve?
Well, we don't have an LCD projector either anymore that'll work with our current laptops, so we just cut our equipment.
Oh boy, ramifications.
But, we don't have a way to show the PowerPoint right now.
Well, I think we could accommodate the actual people. It's just the parking that's been an issue. Maybe we have to look at some, let's buy a $650,000 bus. No, but we could carpool from the town offices for a bunch of us coming here. That would save
Yeah, it's true.
eight parking places.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's something to look into.
I also think we could probably do a little bit better with snow removal. We had a lot of snow and
Well, but I don't think we lost any parking places, though. Did we?
it always takes some away. But let's let Chad look into that for sure. I would recommend that we stay here.
It might be a moot point, but we'll check.
Okay.
I'll check.
So would you get money in the budget for a party bus to go?
Pat, you could also ask Ramsey County's, their sheriff's department to have a little presence that night outside, because traffic it's dangerous.
Oh.
People coming and
Yeah,
going.
that's not a bad idea.
And so there's an opportunity there for.
Sure. Okay.
Services arm.
Okay.
All right.
We'll defer to Chad's direction on that one.
Moving on. Larry, we want to talk about street improvements. First one's Andrea Lane,
Yes, thank you, Mr.
or
Chair.
Anderley Lane.
And Town Board. I have 3 projects to present tonight to you where we will be receiving the feasibility report and calling for a public hearing for those 3 projects. Before I get started with the first one, Anderley Lane, I just wanted to make mention of the overall costs are projected higher than we have shown in our pavement management plan, to the tune of $8-some million versus 4.5 million. So, and part of that addition is when Public Works has looked at these street areas, there's additional utility work involved with each of these projects. I would like us to continue moving forward with these projects, but I think at our executive meeting on Friday, I'd like to discuss how we would manage that and whether we would truly go forward with all 3 of these projects or scale back. So just with that in mind, I'll get started. And at any point we are not committed to any of these projects until you accept a bid. So they can move forward. We can get better pricing. I like to think that at this point in the projects, we are estimating higher because there's still a bit of unknowns until we get into the design. But I want you to keep that in mind as we move forward tonight.
Larry, each one of these are, the action in motion for consideration is exactly the same. These are the 3 areas that were identified. So the details behind them you want to discuss at the exec meeting.
Talking
So
overall budget, what
maybe
would
we
the
can
board be
just
comfortable?
speed this process up without going through all 3 of them. I mean, they're all the same as far as the feasibility report and accepting the feasibility report and the notice of public hearing. That's what you're
Yeah.
really going for. I mean, if we're going to discuss delaying or changing.
Well, he's got to stay, or we need to stay on the schedule for.
Well, I know, I agree with that, but if the issue is accepting a resolution, accepting the feasibility reports for these 3 projects, I'm just, in the essence of time, I was just going to try and speed the process up. They're all the same.
Oh.
It's up to Larry. I mean, I know you
Yeah,
guys did a lot of work on this, but you're going to ask the same thing on all 3 of them.
Yes.
So
I was just going to give you a little background and look at the costs
I'll shut up.
specifically for each.
No.
But if you're comfortable, if you've read the report and you're comfortable, move forward.
With the feasibility.
Well, I for what you're asking and to look at it, talk a little bit more detail in the exec meeting, yes. I mean, that's what you.
Remember, the feasibility studies have to be adopted as part of the assessment process. Failure to do so makes it impossible to assess, or makes it illegal to assess.
I wasn't trying to hijack the process, only speed up the time because.
No, and I understand. I guess, I apologize. I wasn't implying that at all. I'm just saying there's a reason why we have to adopt the feasibility studies. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think it might save us some time on Friday if I kind of go through the presentation. I'll go as quickly as I can.
Thank you.
We know you will, Larry.
So the first project we are going to talk about is Anderley Lane area, and it's along H2. There's several streets off of H2, including Anderley Lane, Reed Place, Ross Lane, Berry Lane, Lavelli Court, Parker Avenue, Mill Street, and Saxony Court. Constructed in the 70s to 97. The pavement ratings are between 1 and 2.25. That's based on 2025 ratings. And certain segments of these streets, some have concrete curb and gutter, but while the majority do not. So the feasibility study looks at, does soil borings and pavement coring. It provides information that informs the study. And so all these categories are reviewed as a part of the study. And I have a few pictures here kind of showing the condition of the streets. So So in this case, the feasibility report for Andy Lane is recommending reclamation, adding curb and gutter, replace existing curb and gutter, and add concrete curb and gutter. Keep the street widths as they are. Adding additional storm sewer. There's stormwater deficiencies in this region that we're looking to add some storm sewer pipe. Probably difficult to see, but this is a map kind of showing our plan for added storm sewer networks to improve the drainage in these neighborhoods. We do questionnaires with these projects, and we have a neighborhood meeting which was held on November 13th, and we take the feedback from the public at those neighborhood meetings and through those questionnaires, and I kind of highlight a number of the items that were discussed or put in the questionnaires. Drainage issues, specific drainage issues were identified. In light of our review of trail work on H2, that's been a topic that was discussed often in the questionnaire where people were saying that they would appreciate that. Cul-de-sac not large enough was a question. Some question the project need or why we're proposing what we're proposing. Streetlights, pedestrian safety for parks, and additional stop signs. So getting into the numbers, the total project cost, including indirect costs, which cover engineering, administration, finance, bonding, and those types of things, $4.3 million for Andy Lee Lane. Looking at breaking that apart, there's part of it is accessible, and we're proposing to assess at this point the same assessment rate as we did on similar projects in 2025. That's that $12,000 rate. We have 99 units on the project, so that assessment amount picks up a $1.188 million. This is the assessment map per the assessment policy, and so it's the properties along these streets to be improved, and including the Saxony Court, which is kind of a little bit to the west of the rest of the neighborhood.
Larry, are you going to have to figure some kind of contingency because there's so many cul-de-sacs in here for access and people being, I know that was part of the complaint we had from the last road project, that when you're on a cul-de-sac and you got trucks blocking traffic and no place to park.
Yes, this project will have those challenges. There's several cul-de-sacs here. I think we have some better options than Parker and Mill, but when you're along a county road, that makes it more difficult. So yeah, that's something we'll truly have to work out with the contractor.
You can get the plan and act all ready to go prior to because there was a lot of angry people.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to work on what they're staging and how they're staging it, and they might have to use some of these other adjacent streets.
I think we should address it prior, like so they've got, because, apparently the job didn't go so well, as we heard.
All right. And so this is the funding sources for the project. As you can see, the assessment's $1.188 million. Township funds of just over $2 million. You can see the water fund was a lot more than what we were originally projecting years ago when we set up our pavement management plan. Sanitary fund, $71,000, and the stormwater fund is also a bit larger than we had expected in our when we did a general review and put numbers together as a part of the pavement management plan. All these projects are on the same schedule, so I won't recite the schedule again for the next couple, but we're gearing up towards a public hearing on January 21st for all three projects. And from there, that project would move on to design, and another open house would occur in April when the plans are completed. We would have a neighborhood meeting leading up to the public hearing to inform people of what we found in the study, and they can ask questions before arriving for the public hearing. So requested actions tonight, accept the public hearing and or accept the feasibility report and call for the public hearing for January 21st.
All right, questions, comments?
The only, well, the first question really has to do with Saxony Court. The road ratings are quite a bit higher except for the cul-de-sac portion of that. Is that what's really driving that particular piece? And why Saxony with this one versus, or could it be interchanged with
Yeah.
the other, we need the other
It could
ones?
be.
Because they might all be bid by the same contractor anyway, or could be?
Yeah.
It's so far from either one of these.
Right.
It's an odd outlier.
It is a bit of an outlier, but looking to try to get that addressed with one of these two projects this year. The pavement condition, you're correct.
It's about
the
10 years,
cul-de-sac.
it's about 10 years newer than what we're doing. And the subsurface is quite a bit thicker than some of these other areas. So, I mean, it should hold, except for the cul-de-sac. And I suppose that takes quite an abuse from people entering that area and turning around and going out.
Yeah, there's some delamination in the pavement that's happening on that street, and so it's coming up for improvements sooner than you've seen in some of these other streets.
So the question on, as far as approving it, so the neighborhood was questioning street lighting. They want to add lighting in there?
There was question about street lighting, but also fiber to the neighborhood as well.
Oh, wow.
And we said we can't really help with that. We encourage you to work with your providers to try to do that. Considering the trail project on H2 and the work here, they thought it might be a good time to extend some fiber to the neighborhood before we invest in street improvements.
But
And
isn't all that underground piercing where it really doesn't,
yeah,
it really doesn't alter the landscaping too much, but
No, and we have no control over when.
we don't. We encourage them to reach out to their providers to,
You put that
optics.
information in to the survey that you send to the residents?
Yeah, I mean, we don't provide the contact information for that, but
I mean, at least put it on their radar. It seems like at least if you inform them, they can decide what they want to do.
Mhm.
And maybe they'll get smart and do it.
No other questions.
I'm done.
I'll make,
all right. Hearing no other, I need a motion on the street improvements for,
move based on town engineer's review and recommendations, adopt the resolution accepting the feasibility report and call a public improvement hearing for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Why is it, when, is that because of is there a holiday that we're moving
Yeah,
to
it was
Wednesday?
Martin Luther
Oh,
King.
okay.
That's the one we just had to move.
So January 21st, 2026, beginning at 7 PM, and that would be here at Heritage Hall?
yes.
Okay.
all right,
Second.
motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next one is the Cottage Avenue, Prospect Avenue, and Lakeview Avenue.
Yeah, so these streets are immediately north of the area we just looked at along H2, and they were constructed in 1977. Pavement ratings here are low. They're 1 for basically every street. The bituminous curbing is failing and eroded. And you can kind of see some of the photos here. The road is in poor shape. The feasibility study again looks at those same elements as we discussed with the other project. Street width varies a bit from 25 to 28 feet. We would propose making them all consistent 28 feet, which is one of our standards we try to adopt on these street projects. Again, we would like to add concrete curb and gutter, add additional storm sewer on the project, water main and sanitary sewer repair. On the north end of some of the streets, we heard from the public that in the spring, a lot of water stands or comes out of the cracking in the road. And so we're looking at ways to address that, either providing some additional measures underneath the street in a sand base, And then also looking at maybe raising the road profile to help accommodate that.
Is there a main sewer line going at the end of that, north of all those roads?
Yes, I'll show that in a minute here. Well, we also want to reconfigure the dead ends. This is another cul-de-sac project, 3 longer cul-de-sacs. So the cul-de-sac configuration need to be looked at for being able to turn around larger vehicles. So this is the storm sewer map. There is storm sewer existing along the north end. We would look at extending the storm sewer in this for all 3 streets, and also add additional storm sewer inlet along H2 and discharging them to the south, where we are looking at the trail project and that stormwater system.
Does that include lift stations then?
For the storm sewer?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's, okay, because that's Ramsey County open space to the north?
That's to the north.
Yes.
So you're trying to tie in the county, I'll get this clear, the trail project, the road projects, and eliminate all the water ponding that the county didn't deal with at each one of those roads.
We're trying to improve that drainage situation at the intersection. Right now, there's a high point right on all 3 streets, right in this location. So at this location, the water travels to the north and to the south.
Mouse isn't showing up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so right in here is the high point. You can kind of see the arrows if you look close. So the high point goes to the north for all 3
There's
streets.
hill, it's a hill down.
Yep.
Each one
Yep.
of those, okay.
And then from this point, it drains towards County Road H2.
Correct.
And so we want to add some additional catch basins at near the intersection of H2 and run piping across H2 to tie into the storm sewer. And well, right now it's ditching, but we're looking at the H2 trail design and adding storm sewer that we would tie it into. Any more questions there?
Well, only because it's a project that the county never fixed in the first place, and I don't want to pay for it as a township. So there you go.
We're well aware of your opinion, Mr. Ruzick.
It's founded. So there you go. Carry on.
All right. Again, we had a neighborhood meeting on November 13th. Again, we heard similar concerns, some drainage issues. Talked a lot about the northern ends of those cul-de-sacs and drainage at County Road H2. County Road H2 pedestrian safety was mentioned in the questionnaires and the public meeting. The cul-de-sac turning movements. Again, some people question the project need. Others were opposite. They see the need. Pond drainage issues, speeding, and pavement heaving were some of the noted concerns that we received through the questionnaires. For this project, we have estimated costs of $3.6 million for the street improvements, the utility, as well as the utility improvements and indirect costs. For this neighborhood, we have 58 properties, accessible units. Looking again at that $12,000 rate, so $696,000 in the assessment part. This is the assessment map, so these are the properties that would be assessed as a part of the project following our assessment policy.
Are those, the ones that are white on there, are those township-owned properties back?
I believe so. And then there's that open space and wetlands that are basically unbuildable and aren't part of the assessment.
Yep.
You mean we can't get Ramsey County to pony up for some of this? We're giving them nice roads to access.
Want to give them a call, Ed?
Yeah, like they'd answer that.
So maybe they'll listen to you.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to follow our assessment policy. If it's not buildable, we don't assess. But we are looking at additional options for, oops, did I go back? For grant funding to help with some of the stormwater through the watershed district. So here's the project funding table: $696,000 in assessments, $1.8 million in township funds. Again, water improvements of $200,000, again, which was more than we were projecting years ago when we set this project up in the pavement management plan. $57,000 in sanitary sewer and $865,000 in our storm utility, from the storm to utility fund. Again, this is a bit higher than what we were estimating years ago. The schedule is similar to the last project, so I won't go over that. And we have the same requested actions tonight.
All right, questions, comments? Hearing none, need a motion?
I'll make a motion based on town engineer's review and recommendation, adopt the resolution accepting the feasibility report and call a public improvement hearing for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. At Heritage Hall.
A second.
Motion's made second. All in favor? Aye. All right, the last one there is the Bloom Edition.
Yeah, so the Bloom Edition project is several cul-de-sacs again off of Portland Avenue. And this wasn't in your pavement management plan at all. These streets have been degrading at a faster level than we were expecting. When we did our rating in 2025, they came up and fall into the category of wanting to look at a mill and overlay before the roadways get to a point where it can't be do a mill and overlay. We may have some time before we need to do this project, but we did want to study it to see what was happening to determine next steps. So it includes Bloom Road, Morgan Trail, Border Pine Court, and Bartilla Court. These were originally constructed in 2025 and 2024. We did perform a number of seal coats. They do have concrete curb and gutter. Going through that evaluation, we did the same things we did on the other projects, soil borings and pavement coring. And we're recommending a mill and overlay, 1.5 inch mill and overlay. And so, this is a different type of improvement than we just talked about. It's trying to do intercept some of the degradation you're seeing by performing a mill and overlay, sealing up the surface, and preventing it from getting to a lesser condition where we might have to invest more money in this. We'd look at spot replacement of curb and gutter. We wouldn't be replacing all the curb and gutter. It'd just be anything that's damaged or cracked that we'd replace. And then looking at paving a thicker lift back of 2 inches. And then other township utility system repair and maintenance. Bartilla Court has an island. A number of these cul-de-sacs have the center islands that we had talked about a couple years ago with Mallard Ponds. They had some of those similar things. And we want to bring it to your attention right away here. We would be recommending Bartilla Court island removal. There's some difficulties in maneuvering that cul-de-sac because of that island. Other islands in the on those streets, we'd say they're fine. We don't have the same problems.
How do you do a mill and overlay if you're going to remove the island?
We would have to repair that area with pavement, and then do the mill and overlay.
Because right now you have those streets rated at a 3.
Yes.
That's not really our policy to touch a road that's at a 3.
Yeah, it is. Any street that's between 2.2 and 3.25.
Really? Oh, I thought-
That's where we look at the mill and overlay category. And
What year were these roads done?
2005. And typically we're seeing mill and overlay. That first mill and overlay, if you remember our pavement degradation map, is when we want to consider our first mill and overlay, 20 to 25 years after the initial construction. And so, does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I was just thinking 3 of those before you have to do a complete reconstruction, so.
Yeah, 2. Yep.
Well, from the original, yeah.
Yeah. Neighborhood meeting again on November 13th. Some street drainage issues we heard, some damaged curb. There's a lot more people questioning the project need. And again, I think, they feel like we're going to be doing a full reconstruction, which wouldn't be the case here. It'd just be do that mill and overlay. But there's a lot more that question the project need here. Pond drainage issues, speeding within the neighborhood and on Portland Avenue were also concerns. This is a smaller project. Overall, the project costs are $987,000 that we've computed. 57 accessible units on the properties or on the project. Looking at that $5,000 assessment for a mill and overlay. So preliminary assessments account for $285,000. These are the assessment maps. We have several properties that are larger, would be assessed multiple units. And then corner lots are assessed at a half a unit for each improved side. And this is Bartilla Court. So we kind of have 2 different areas along Portland Avenue.
So Larry, on the Bartilla Court, the cul-de-sac has come up
Yeah.
pros and cons a number of times over the years. Some want it, some don't want it. So the primary decider on that portion of it, based on what you said, is that going to be input from the residents to decide?
Yeah, I mean,
Public Works doesn't want it.
Public
because
Works
it's
is
hard
having
to-
some challenges maneuvering that cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And so our next step would be to go to the neighborhood meeting in January and communicate that to the citizens. And then they would be able to voice their opinion to the board at the public hearing. Project funding, assessments $285,000. The township funds right around $500,000. Water utility fund $63,000. Sanitary $44,000, and storm sewer right around $100,000. Make up that $987,000. Again, we're looking at that same schedule for holding our next neighborhood meeting. We haven't set a date for that for any of the projects, and the residents will be notified at that neighborhood meeting, and then of the public hearing, which, if approved tonight, would be January 21st. Again, similar actions.
All right, questions, comments?
Good.
All right, do I need them?
Logan wants to make a comment.
Logan wants to.
Come on up. I saw your eyebrows go up when you went half of a assessment.
Yeah, that was a little weird. No, sorry, Logan Guion again, for those who forgot. My question is more, I'm looking through the packet, and there is a comment specifically in here on this latest project that warns the township board not to use the contractor who worked on Jenny Lane. Just bringing that to your attention. But I'm also wondering, so this one makes sense that it's trickier because the road level is 3.0. That's a little bit more borderline. I get that. But my question is, how can there be a discrepancy with the pictures we clearly saw in the last one, a road rating of 1.0, and people are saying, don't do this, there's nothing wrong with the road? Maybe I need to ask the residents, but
Why would they say that, you're asking?
yeah.
because some would prefer to have gravel roads go backwards instead of moving forward.
Also, ice looks perfectly safe at 2 inches. It's not.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's,
Well, that's why we do bore samples. You got to know what's underneath the road to kind of tell you what the length or the history and the health of the road is.
And that makes sense to me at 3.0. At 1.0, it seems obvious to the naked eye.
But then you have to know how much Larry how much fill we have to bring in or how much we have to take out and replace. It's a lot more involved.
Yeah, and some people mistake patching for a new street. So there's been patching on some of those other streets that are done to keep the road from completely falling apart.
Right.
And some people kind of think, oh, it's new now. And, well, it's not really new. It's just a very thin patch to fill potholes and make it safe
and
That makes a lot more sense.
for the time being.
And there are people that, they love it when it's done. They just want to pay for it like the rest of it. It's not, as Scott McCune used to say, it's not sexy to do road projects. They're not, but they're necessary because we all drive on them. It's not only the people who live there, but it's other people that drive on them. But
Scott's watching tonight.
Oh.
He's been referenced more tonight than I think the entire time he worked here.
But anyway, there are lots of individual reasons why people.
Well, it is not the opinion of press publications or the Wiper Press, but it is my personal opinion that I am anti-gravel road, having lived on a gravel road in Hugo for many years, and also near Elmcrest, which we all nicknamed the washboard. So I am opposed to gravel
We
roads.
have one half a dirt road left, the only one in the county.
Isn't it something to do with the railroad track?
Peterson Road.
Oh, Peterson Road.
We paved half of it, the other half is still dirt.
It seems like your road, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir. That is his road.
Okay, good to know.
Thanks, Logan.
So I'll make a motion.
All right.
So with that, based on town engineer's review and recommendation, adopt the resolution accepting the feasibility report and call a public improvement hearing for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. at Heritage Hall.
Second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. We have no added agenda items. Open time. Got anything else, Logan?
End of the year, what are we going to do? Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. But two surprises. One that was in the packet and one that wasn't. One, I blinked and you missed it earlier. We were supposed to discuss the fire contract tonight. That got
We deleted it off the agenda.
Why?
Because we're going to discuss it on our exec meeting on Friday.
Does that mean I have to come?
No.
No, you don't have to.
All right, thank you.
And quite frankly, Logan, we've been threatened to be sued over this, and so the board's a little uncomfortable about speaking about any of this publicly.
Yes, and I really recommend any further discussion of that because of that ongoing litigation.
I understand. Second, in previous meetings, and yes, please feel free to. That's your right to shut this second question down too. Previous meetings had referred to a JPA deadline with North Oaks in December. So I was led to expect that there would be discussion on that at one of the meetings in December.
So we were given a feasibility report from North Oaks and their consultant engineers. They made deadline because of our meeting schedule. We really didn't get a chance to speak about them publicly. So what we did is the board did direct staff and our engineering consultants to review the feasibility report. We came up with a list of about 10 questions that we had that have not been responded to yet. Okay. But we are, if we get responses to those, that will be part of our executive committee meeting on Friday.
Do I have to come?
No, you can.
All right.
You can give me a call and I'll give you the lowdown on what we talked about.
And we're trying to wrap this up by the meeting in January.
Yeah.
I understand. That's good to know. And then finally, another blank and you'll miss it. Whitebear Township owns Benson Airport. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's
I'm sorry.
the title to the airport belongs to the township, subject to certain restrictions in the deed from the estate of John Benson.
Correct.
Okay.
And those restrictions will run out in 2038.
I believe. Is it
35, I think.
35? Okay.
35, just in time for the 2050 plan. Wonderful.
How about that?
Yeah. Okay. That's neither here nor there. Thank you all very much for answering all my questions tonight. Thank you.
Thanks.
Tim, you got anything else? All right, seeing none, I need a motion to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Need a motion to adjourn at 9:59.
So moved.
8:59.
I was like, what?
What?
8:59, not 9:59.
Oh, sorry, 9 o'clock.
Seconded.
Hold on.
All right, we're done.
Yay.
Thanks.